The night the television begins to breathe, the old man is not afraid. The screen flickers with pale blue light, humming like trapped bees inside a calabash. Shadows stretch along the mud walls of his hut. Outside, wind scrapes dry leaves across the compound like bones dragged over stone. A storm gathers over the forest, but inside the hut, another storm is already alive. The old man sits forward on his raffia mat, his thin fingers gripping a carved wooden staff darkened by years of sweat. His eyes blaze brighter than the screen before him. "You lie," he whispers to the moving images. "You lie to me." On the television, a film plays, heroes shouting, villains plotting, drums pounding in distant villages. The old man leans closer, as if the actors can feel his breath through the glass. He argues with them as though they have insulted his ancestors. Tonight, something answers back. The screen crackles. The hero on the screen turns his face, slowly, impossibly, toward the old man. The wind outside stops. The hut grows cold. The carved staff trembles in the old man's hand. The television speaks his name. Before we uncover how a simple argument with a glowing box tears open the boundary between worlds, support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing this story with those who love powerful tales. And tell us, where are you watching from? The night deepens. The breath inside the television grows louder. And the old man does not yet understand what he has invited into his home. In a village wrapped in red earth and whispering palms, there lives an old man named Noi. Once, he is respected. Once, he is a storyteller whose voice commands silence beneath the moon. Children gather at his feet to hear of spirits in the forest and warriors who outwit death. Women pause their pounding of yam to listen. Even the village chief nods when Noi speaks. But time is a patient thief. Age bends his back and thins his audience. Younger voices rise. A new teacher arrives from the city carrying books and stories from faraway lands. Then one dry season, a trader brings a television set powered by a small humming generator. The village gathers in wonder as light pours from a box no larger than a woven basket. Noi watches the people drift toward the glow. They laugh at jokes spoken by strangers. They weep for heroes they have never met. They forget the old man whose voice once filled the darkness with thunder. Pride coils inside Noi like a serpent warmed by fire. He buys his own television with the last of his savings. He places it in his hut, near the carved staff that once symbolized his authority as keeper of stories. He tells himself he buys it to study these new tales, to understand them. But his heart knows another truth. He buys it to fight them. Each evening, he sits before the screen. When a character makes a foolish choice, Noi slams his staff against the floor. When a villain deceives, Noi shouts warnings. When lovers betray, he curses their blindness. He argues as if the television is a rival storyteller stealing his throne. Villagers pass by and hear his voice rising above the hum of electricity. The hero should turn back, he roars. The spirits are testing him. Children giggle outside his hut. Some whisper that old age has cracked his mind. Others say he wrestles spirits inside the glowing box. But Moi does not care. His pride is a drum beating in his chest. He will not be silenced by moving shadows. And every night, he grips his carved staff as if it can command the images to obey. The change begins on a night thick with Hammertown dust. The television shows a film about an ancient kingdom. A proud elder warns a young prince not to chase glory beyond his destiny. The prince ignores him. The kingdom burns. Noi leans forward, anger burning his throat. "Listen to the elder," he shouts. "Foolish child. Pride will bury you." The prince on the screen pauses. The scene freezes. The air grows heavy, pressing against Noi's lungs. The hum of the generator slows, deepens, becomes a low chant. The prince turns his head not toward another actor, but toward Noi. "You speak of pride," the prince says, voice spilling from the speakers like cold smoke. Do you know its weight? Noy's mouth dries. His staff slips from his grip. The walls of the hut ripple like water disturbed by a stone. The television screen widens, stretching beyond its frame. The prince steps closer until his eyes fill the glass. You challenge every story, the voice continues. Tonight, a story challenges you. The screen bursts with blinding light. When Noy opens his eyes, the hut is gone. He stands beneath a blood-red sky. Smoke curls from distant rooftops. Drums beat in panic. The ancient kingdom from the film surrounds him, alive, breathing, burning. His carved staff lies in his hand. He has crossed from watcher to participant. The kingdom trembles under invasion. Warriors rush past Noy without seeing him, yet he feels the heat of their fear. Women wail near wells. Ash falls like dry rain. He tries to move toward the palace, but his legs sink into soil thick as mud. A whisper coils around him. You who judge from comfort, the whisper murmurs, walk now within consequence. A young prince runs past, face streaked with sweat and stubborn fire. The same prince Noy mocked moments before. Noy grips his staff and calls out warnings, but his voice emerges thin, swallowed by wind. He follows the prince through narrow alleys and into the palace courtyard. Flames lick the carved pillars. Elders kneel before ancestral masks, praying for deliverance. One mask draws Noy's gaze, a fierce wooden face with eyes carved wide and knowing. It rests upon an altar, half covered in ash. The whisper returns. This is the mask of echoes. It shows truth without mercy. The prince seizes a sword, determined to ride into battle despite the elders' pleas. Noy sees himself in the prince, the same refusal to bend, the same hunger to be right. The prince charges into war. Noy is pulled after him. Steel clashes. Blood darkens the earth. The sky roars with smoke and fire. Noy feels pain when warriors fall, as if their wounds carve his own flesh. He tries to shout commands, but he has no authority here. The prince meets the invading warlord in single combat. Pride fuels each swing of the sword. Pride blinds each step. The warlord strikes. The prince falls. The drums stop. Silence spreads like spilled oil. In that silence, the mask of echoes appears before Noy, hovering above the battlefield. Its carved eyes glow. Why does the kingdom burn? The whisper asks. Because the prince was foolish, Noy answers. The mask tilts. And why did he refuse wisdom? Noy's throat tightens. He sees himself arguing with the television, dismissing every story that does not bow to his voice. He sees children walking past his hut to watch brighter tales. He sees pride choking gratitude. The mask glows brighter. You fight shadows, it murmurs, because you fear becoming one. The battlefield dissolves. Noy stands once more inside his hut. But the hut is not as before. The television screen is dark, yet the room hums with unseen presence. The carved staff in his hand feels heavier, as though soaked in unseen rain. He staggers toward the television. His reflection stares back from the black glass, eyes wild, beard trembling. Then the reflection changes. He sees himself as the prince, reckless, unyielding. He sees himself as the elders, ignored, fading. He sees himself as the villagers, seeking stories that grow with them. The mask of echoes appears within the screen. You stand at a crossing, the voice says. Remain a man who shouts at shadows, or become a man who listens. The wind outside howls, pressing against the hut as if demanding an answer. Noy feels the old serpent of pride rise within him. It hisses, urging him to reject this vision, to blame the village, to blame time. But he remembers the burning kingdom. He remembers the prince's fall. Slowly, he lowers his staff. I have feared being forgotten, he admits into the silence. I have mistaken noise for wisdom. The screen brightens softly. The mask fades. The television returns to normal, a simple box humming in the night. But Moi is no longer the same. The next evening, villagers pass by Moi's hut expecting the usual shouts. They hear nothing. Inside, the old man sits quietly before the television. A story plays, another hero, another trial. Noi watches without interruption. His eyes are calm. His staff rests beside him, no longer raised in challenge. When the film ends, children linger near his doorway, curious. Noi steps outside. He sits beneath the moon as he once did, the carved staff across his lap. The television's glow flickers behind him, but it does not command the night. He begins to speak. Not to compete. Not to conquer. He weaves a tale of a kingdom that burned because pride refused to bow. He tells of a prince who learned too late that wisdom ignored becomes destiny fulfilled in sorrow. He speaks of a mask that reveals the truth hidden in one's own reflection. The children draw closer. Even elders pause to listen. The television still hums in the hut, but it is no longer an enemy. It is a river of stories flowing beside his own. Days pass. Moi no longer argues with the screen. He studies it. He learns. He allows new tales to breathe without suffocating them with his pride. And in return, his own stories grow deeper, richer, tempered by humility. One night, as he finishes a story, he feels a soft wind brush his face, warm, approving. He looks toward his hut. For a brief moment, he sees the faint outline of the mask of echoes within the dark screen. Its carved eyes no longer blaze with judgment. They shimmer with quiet peace. The old man smiles. He understands now that destiny is not a cage built by time. It is a path shaped by choice. Pride can turn wisdom into ash. But humility can turn even a glowing box of shadows into a mirror that saves a soul. And so the village learns what Moi learns beneath the patient moon. The loudest voice is not always the wisest. The brightest light is not always the truest. And a man who argues with every story may one day discover he has been arguing with himself.